Welcome, ladies and gents. We've had the Chinese Grand Prix, and it's that time where I go through and rate each and every one of the drivers, how they got on over the whole weekend in Japan. And we, as ever, start with the race winner, Max Verstappen, who was absolutely flawless. He drove simply lovely. It was outstanding. There's no two ways about it. He wasn't the man that should have won this race. He shouldn't have been the man on pole. But Max Verstappen, as ever, does what others cannot do, and he's just absolutely driving fantastically well this year. It's the Max Verstappen 2.0 almost that we've seen parts of last season, the year before, when he was, just bided his time and just took the kill. He's so decisive when it comes to it. The qualifying lap was absolutely sensational. He said he nearly binned it 4 or 5 times, but when you look at it, it just looks so on it. The speed he carries through every corner is phenomenal. He loves it round here. He's unbeaten, isn't he, so far in Japan for the last few years. He just drives fantastically well around here. It's a driver's circuit, and he is one hell of a driver, Max Verstappen. And there's nothing but a 10 out of 10. I could give him more, to be honest, because he was just flawless. The only downside was the slow pit stop. I mean, that's the smallest. It wasn't his fault, it was the team's. The only smallest little blimp on a whole weekend, where practice he was never in the running to be looking like he's the man for pole position. But he came in, stole the win from under McLaren's nose. He was absolutely outstanding. Second place man, Lando Norris. I think he had the car to beat Max Verstappen. If you look at the McLaren, it looked outstanding. All of their sectors, by far the fastest of anybody when it came to qualifying. They just couldn't get the lap together. And that was the difference. And it's small differences now that will make the difference between winning and losing what looks like this season. We've seen 4 races, 4 different winners, 4 different pole sitters, and it's all about, on that given weekend, can you get it together? And McLaren now need to get it together because they've got the car that is the fastest than everybody, but they need to capitalise like Red Bull did last season with Max Verstappen. Built that buffer, and when everybody comes back to attack, you've got the space to do it. But now he's got Max Verstappen breathing down his neck, just 1 point in it in the championship. Norris, in the race, though, he said that's pretty much all he had. He give it full beans and never got in the DRS of Max Verstappen. It probably didn't help. I think they probably drove with a higher wing than Max Verstappen did, and that's why they just couldn't get closer down the straights, down into the chicane and down into that run into turn 1. The only 2 real opportunities for overtaking in Japan. There was no tyre differences here. The tyres were immaculate. The team didn't really split strategy to help him on that front. So it's a difficult one, but I think McLaren kind of really lost this one. And I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. It's going to be a lot of 6s for this one. Third place, Oscar Piastri, and he looked like he had the better of Lando Norris, and I think he'll be the most disappointed because overall in qualifying he looked absolutely on it, flying. His first sector on his final run qualifying session, which was the one that really cost him pole position, because other than that he was fastest of anybody, in 2 purples in sector 2 and sector 3 on this quali lap. In the race he pushed as hard as he could, got in the DRS of Lando Norris, pulled for a move a couple of times. We got one lap where he got really close, within a tenth and a half, 2 tenths down into turn 1, but it would have been a crazy lunge on your teammate, and the risks taking him out when you can end up with 2 people on the podium. I just don't think he would have risked it. It was a big risk to pull, and I think if it had been a lot closer and got up alongside, then he obviously did, but he just never got there in the end. And that was the difficult one, really. And he'll be another one that probably goes away thinking, I should have won this race. He didn't, and I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. Fourth place man, Charles Leclerc. I think he just got everything he could out of that car, to be honest with you. Didn't have enough to close to the McLarens, and he was comfortable ahead of the Mercedes, who I thought Mercedes looked strong, especially in Quali 2 and Quali 3. Didn't come together for him, but Charles Leclerc did the best he could. The car isn't there at the moment, which is really disappointing, because Ferrari were the guys to go ahead and win this one. It didn't really pull off for him. and he was in a bit of no man's land. Didn't really have much work to do, brought it home comfortably, and I'm giving him another 6 out of 10. Fifth place man, George Russell, and yeah, another steady Eddie one, isn't it really? He was the first to pit of the front runners, and I think when he looks back, that was probably what cost him a little bit to his teammate, because it put him under pressure towards the end of the race. Antonelli was catching him hand over fist, wasn't it? It looked like it was just a matter of time. If Antonelli got into Russell's DRS, he would have had him, because Russell ran them tyres very, very long on that final stint. And it was probably a mistake calling him in early doors, but I don't think he had enough to pressure Charles Leclerc too much, and he just managed to hold off Antonelli behind him in the end. Another one, a 6 out of 10. Sixth place man, Antonelli, and I think he drove brilliantly well. Went very, very long. Led the race for youngest driver to lead a Formula 1 race. I mean, he's like 16, 17-year-old, this kid. Is absolutely incredible. I've been the most impressed with him out of the rookies. He came in with a lot of pressure. The young kid going to the big team, Mercedes. What could he do? And he's been one of the most impressive rookies, along with Isaac Hadjar, I've got to say. But he's been massively impressive. Just in touching distance with George Russell through most of the race, and another couple of laps I think you would have had George Russell, because he was absolutely giving it full everything, wasn't he? Made a couple of mistakes at the chicane. Did they cost him potentially of getting in that DRS zone on the final lap of George Russell? But that was the only blimp, and I thought he was very, very good in the end. This guy's got really good pace, and that's what we wanted to see from these young kids. Have you got the fast one lap pace? And this kid definitely has that. An 8 out of 10 for him. Seventh place man, Lewis Hamilton, started in 8th, finished in 7th. He got a nice pass on Isaac Hadjar on lap 6. Good move on the DRS. He said the car isn't right there for him. There's a component that isn't working, and it looks like it's not working in comparison. The way he said it's not working well as in comparison to what he expects and seen on the other car of Charles Leclerc. They're rebuilding that, and he's hopeful that'll be there for the next race, and that should hopefully fix these issues that he's kind of had. I think they just can't unlock the performance on that car yet. The issues are they just don't seem to be able to get that car low enough to the ground where it performs and where Lewis likes it. I think they did that, and it cost him the DNF last time out, or the disqualification last time out. But yeah, Lewis, he'll be hoping that it's fixed by Bahrain and they can go better there. But it looks there's not an awful lot of change since the Bahrain test, has it? So interesting to see what, if anything, happens for him there. But 5 out of 10 for Lewis Hamilton. 8th place man, Isaac Hadjar, started in 7th, finished in 8th. Got a pass by Lewis Hamilton early doors. However, after that, he drove really well, I thought. He managed the car well. He's been really impressive, despite the Australia struggle, and you thought that could have negatively affected him, but he's not. He's come back, he's shown what a talent he is. He's been fast, and he's, like I said, with Antonelli, one that's really impressed. He's been quick in quali, the fastest Red Bull guy behind Max Verstappen, and in the lower car, and he's been absolutely on it. I've been really, really impressed with him. Another good weekend from him. Good points, an 8 out of 10 for me. 9th place finisher, Alex Albon, comes home in some points for the Williams. Wasn't happy with his turn early doors, was he? Really unhappy with the gear shifts, complaining about it, and it just seems like it fell on deaf ears, according to him. Even in the pit stop, the strategy call, he wasn't happy with that either. Thought the undercut, that didn't work, but never went long in the overcut that he thought should have potentially nicked him one more place. But I think he drove really, really well. He's in no man's land, really, when it looked to going back or forward. Couldn't get close to Hadjar, but I think he's brought home some good points for the Williams team. I've given him an 8 out of 10. 10th place man, Ollie Berman, and he's another one that's really impressed after a poor Oz performance. The last couple of Grand Prix, he's done well, some more points for him. He achieved the maximum he could out of that car, and that car didn't look great, but they seem to have some issue with the floor that they've gone back on towards last year's car. It didn't really work, the upgrade or update that they did on this year's car in terms of the floor. They've gone backwards on that, and it seems to have gone better. They're performing much better than they should, and what they did first time out, where they looked like absolutely miles off the pace. It was shocking what they were there. But he had another good qualifying session. He can be happy with his race. Overall, I think he's done another rookie that's done a really solid job for the team. I'm giving him an 8 out of 10. 11th place man, Fernando Alonso, and he'll be happy he's finally finished a race this season. Started in 13th, finished in 11th, got the pass on Pierre Gasly early on, held him off really, really well, and then he worked well to get the pass on Yuki Tsunoda, or kept him behind, didn't he? I don't think he got the pass on Yuki, but yeah, 11th place. He's done another really, really good job, hasn't he? Managed to, I think he just got the maximum cut out of that car. Shame there's no points on offer Fernando Alonso, but a much better weekend from him. The Aston Martin still stinks a little bit as a car, doesn't it? They've got to bring some performance, and hopefully it actually works and drags that team forward. We've not really seen the Newey effect yet, or is it a fact that they just write this thing off and work towards 26, which is their big campaign? Let's see how it pans out for him, but he was the best of the Aston Martins by a long shot. A 7 out of 10 for me for Fernando Alonso. 12th place man, Yuki Tsunoda, started in 15th, finished in 12th. He got 14th actually, wasn't he, with that grid penalty for Carlos Sainz. A nice pass on Liam Lawson, lap 1, crucial for him. Nice opportunist move, wasn't it? Lawson made a mistake at Spoon, snuck in and took that past him. Slipped past Gasly in the pit stop with the strategy. Gasly actually had a poor stop, which helped him on that one. And then got close and was all over Fernando Alonso, but just couldn't get past him. Normally, I'd be more critical of a guy that's in the car that's gone and won the race and not making up more positions. But it might look like I'm making excuses, and probably I am, but it was a really difficult race to overtake. We've seen that throughout the whole field. I mean, it's Carlos Sainz that probably made the most overtakes of anybody in that race, and look where he finished. And yeah, so it's been a tricky one. Overall, he'll be satisfied, I suppose. It's not gone horribly wrong. He's done a better job than Lawson did, who qualified last for his 2 times. He's got the chance in that Racing Bulls. So a steady start for Yuki Tsunoda, but I expect he'll be much better next time out in Bahrain. And he's done his practice performance, at least shows that he's can be closer to Max Verstappen, and let's hope it works out for him. But otherwise, a solid start to his Red Bull camp career in the main team, but let's hope it gets better for him here. Steady, but nothing massively impressive. A 6 out of 10 for Yuki. 13th place, Pierre Gasly started in 11th place. He'll be disappointed. He finished 2 places back in 13th. Like I said before, he got passed by Fernando Alonso at the start of the race, and then got the slow pit stop, which helped Yuki get past him also from there. The car is just not where it kind of expected it to be, is it, this weekend? More work to do on that Alpine, and they've slipped slightly backwards of how well they seem to have started in that car, but he gave it the maximum he had. A 5 out of 10 for me. 14th place man, Carlos Sainz. He got the grid penalty, started in 15th in the end. Lost a place at the start. Lap 2, he repassed Hülkenberg, got back into 15th, which did help him. And then he went long on the stint, didn't he? And then went onto the softs, and he was flying on them softs in the end. But I don't think it really worked out for him too well, actually, because going that long, he just seemed to be slow, and then came out 17th, and then had an awful lot of work to do to catch up and make the couple of places up that he'd sort of done early doors from his starting position. So yeah, he finished 1 place better than he started, but overall, yeah, nothing spectacular. Good passes on Hülkenberg, good pass on Jack Doohan. Yeah, difficult start to the campaign for Carlos Sainz. He won't be happy with that, but just more mileage under the belt, and he'll hope for better next time out. I've given him a 4 out of 10. 15th place man, Jack Doohan, started in 19th, made up 4 places into 15th place. He had, well, the most places gained in the race, didn't he? By an absolute mile did Jack Doohan. Ran into P14 at one point behind Pierre Gasly, and I thought that was pretty solid if he could finish there. Got passed by Carlos Sainz, who was on the soft. I didn't think he had too much to defend from him, but a good recovery after a really poor start with that big crash, which was a massive setback for him in the practice. But overall, I think he did well to recover from that. He'll just hope that he can iron out these issues, because he's another one that's got his seat under threat with Franco Colapinto waiting in the wings, and that threat won't disappear if he makes expensive crashes like this for Alpine. He needs to just iron them mistakes out, but he's a rookie. It's kind of expected when you've been given that seat for these sort of things to happen, but he'll be happier that he was closer to Gasly in the race in the end. Finished 1 place or a couple of places behind him in the end because of that Sainz pass, but overall I think he could be happy with that. I've given him a 9 out of 10 just because I think he made up 4 places, and we've seen others fall back massively in the end. 16th place man, Nico Hülkenberg started there, finished there in the end, got the good pass on Carlos Sainz, couldn't keep him behind. And from there on, he was just under no pressure, just couldn't do enough to Pax Doohan in the end. No pressure from behind, but was in the DRS of Jack Doohan, but just couldn't make the move in the end. Difficult to overtake. He'll be disappointed actually, because we've not seen the Nico Hülkenberg, the specials that we've seen from him in qualifying so far. He's comfortably better than Bortoleto this weekend, but you kind of expect that from most of the races, but Bortoleto's done well and better than him in the first couple of races, I think, so far. So better from Nico Hülkenberg, but nothing spectacular this weekend. I've given him a 5 out of 10. 17th place finisher Liam Lawson started in 14th. He'll be disappointed that left Yuki Tsunoda through, and from there on he went really long on his first stop, and then onto the softs, but it didn't work like Carlos Sainz. Actually, that strategy didn't work too well for him. I think it was just the mediums. Going long on that mediums probably wasn't the right strategy for him, although it seemed to work well enough-ish for Kimi Antonelli. I think the only one that did the long medium stint, and it kind of worked all right for him. Anyone that went long on the hards and then the softs might have done better. Hard was probably the better tyre overall for the race in the end to try that strategy. And yeah, he'll be disappointed. He's finished 3 places down from where he started. Been comfortably beaten by Isaac Hadjar. Disappointing return in the Racing Bulls for him. I'll be hoping for better next time out in Bahrain. I've given him sadly a 3 out of 10. 18th place man Esteban Ocon, and he's been a shadow of the driver we've seen last season. Qualifying's normally been his strong suit, and we've yet to see that so far this season. Comfortably beaten by Ollie Berman this weekend. Started in 18th, finished in 18th. Just made no progress in the race at all. He just struggled, just never in the fight, and the big struggle has really been his qualifying. It's not helped him for the race. Yeah, solid enough, but nothing spectacular at all. I've given him a 3 out of 10. Disappointing, I think, is the big word for Ocon. 19th place man, Gabi Bortoleto, started in 17th, finished in 19th. He lost 3 places at the start, a poor start. He seemed to hit a damp patch or something, and then everybody was past him pretty much. Looked like for all the world he finished in P20, and he was last for most of the race. He struggled to seem to just get the flow of this circuit. Never looked comfortable at any point of the weekend, and it kind of shown in the race. He's only got beaten by Stroll, who pitted twice, or he's only beaten Stroll, who pitted twice in the end, and that is probably the only reason why he's not finished last this weekend. A disappointing one. He's had some good couple of races though, so we kind of expected this dip to happen at some point. He'll be disappointed it's happened here though. Kind of expected a slightly little bit more from him, but a 3 out of 10. He'll be hoping for better next time out in Bahrain. And last place man, Lance Stroll. Yeah, he started there, finished there in the end. He surprisingly went on the softs, pitted on lap 10, and then he went on the hards, and they didn't last very long at all in his car, which was surprising. Everyone else managed to sort of do that and finish pretty much the whole race from there for him. I don't know why or why it didn't work for him. He's the only man that had to do 2 stops in the end, and that cost him not much faster than Bortoleto in the end, and didn't catch up and put him under pressure really to take that place. A disappointing weekend for Lance Stroll. They'll be hoping to put this back behind him and regain the performance that we've seen early doors in the first couple of seasons, where he's got the better of Fernando Alonso, his teammate. But yeah, a weekend to forget. A 3 out of 10 for Lance Stroll. For the predictions review, well, I've had a shocker this weekend. Just 1 right out of 10. For qualifying, I had Norris to take pole position, Leclerc second, and George Russell third. Max Verstappen stole that one with a brilliant pole position, and it was Norris and Piastri second and third. It finished that way in the race. I did think Charles Leclerc will be good in the race, and the Ferraris didn't happen. Lando Norris did finish second, as I predicted, the only one I got right, and Yuki Tsunoda, which was a bit foolish for me to put him in third place. Very, very optimistic there. I thought it'd be a good weekend for Yuki and Ferrari. Obviously had him down for a win, that didn't occur, and I thought it'd be a bad weekend for Mercedes. I wouldn't say it was bad. They finished probably as best as they could, 5th and 6th. I think George Russell has outdone that car with a couple of podiums that he's had so far this season, and I think this is where they probably are. So yeah, predictions, Mystic Meg, I am not predictions review in the bin. And thankfully we go to Bahrain next time, and it cannot be any worse than this weekend. Let's hope it isn't in terms of racing action. I mean, we might be admiring another Max Verstappen magic lap, who knows. But in Bahrain there is opportunity to overtake, and it'll be very, very different to what we've seen here in Japan. And we don't have long to wait. Next weekend, Bahrain. Fantastic. Cannot wait for the action to get going. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment. As always, see you on the next one. And watch out for the preview of Bahrain coming early this week. Thank you.